Heisman contenders, March Madness Cinderellas, Olympic level talent. The energy of college athletics is unmatched. And every week, we highlight the most incredible performances, the biggest upsets, and the breakout stars that will become the next generation of professional legends. If it's trending, if it's dominating the headlines, it is officially noteworthy. Get ready for your all-access pass to the collegiate sports world. Welcome to Noteworthy in the NCAA, brought to you by the Empty the Bench Network. Now, let's join your host, Will Charlton.
Welcome to another episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA here on the Empty the Bench Network. I'm your host, Will Charlton. Happy you're joining us once again on yet another Monday afternoon and yet another Monday in the marvelous month of March. Happy you're with us once again. Before we get into the show, make sure to follow us across all social media platforms at ETB Network. Make sure to like and subscribe to our content on YouTube. You can watch all of our shows on youtube.com/ETB Network. And then you can follow me across social media at Will Charlton H13 on Twitter, and then at Will Charlton TV on Instagram and TikTok. And make sure to also follow the podcast that I'm on, Forever Power 5, on Instagram and Twitter at FP5ETB, and then on TikTok at Forever Power 5, no caps or spaces. So let's get into it here today. Obviously, with this week coming up now, the regular season has concluded in college basketball. The final regular season games took place on Sunday. Handful of good games in the Big Ten yesterday. Michigan beats Michigan State to go 2-0 against their rival this season. That was 90-80. The Wolverines won that game in Ann Arbor, and then Nebraska and Iowa went to overtime. That was a fun game yesterday as well. But the most significant games that are taking place right now are taking place at the mid-major level. And a lot of people say, and I honestly kind of tend to agree, that this stretch of like going back to, I guess, Saturday, this stretch from Saturday to Sunday is honestly sometimes better than the actual tournament itself, just because all these conference tournaments that are going on, it's just nonstop incredible action no matter what. And we already have a handful of champions crowned. Tennessee State won the Ohio Valley on Saturday. They crushed Morehead State. On Sunday, we had a few crowned. We had Northern Iowa beat Illinois Chicago in the Missouri Valley, which is a 5 seed against a 6 seed. So a 6 seed won the Missouri Valley. Actually, Northern Iowa was the first ever team to win 4 games in 4 days in the Arch Madness tournament. That's what it's called, the Arch Madness tournament in the Missouri Valley. And then, so yeah, that was a great run for Northern Iowa. Trey Campbell of Northern Iowa, he played great in that game. I was able to watch that one. It was a lot of fun. And then let's see. I'm like, there's already so many that I'm blanking out on the ones that happened. Long Island, the school in the Northeastern Conference out of New York, they automatically punched their ticket after a semifinal victory over Wagner because the Sharks are playing Mercyhurst in the NEC final. And I believe that's I think it's tomorrow night, but it might be tonight even. We'll figure that out later, but regardless, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure it is tomorrow night. That's neither here nor there, though. LIU already punched his ticket because Mercyhurst is ineligible. So, yes, it is tomorrow night on Tuesday. But, yeah, so Mercyhurst is an ineligible team to make the NCAA tournament field because of the transition period. Mercyhurst was, I believe, a D2. And I think they're in the second year of becoming a D1 school. So I believe it's a 2-year period where you are ineligible for postseason tournaments when you're in this transition period going up to the D1 level. I can't remember if it was D3 or D2 where they came from, but So yeah, LIU is automatically in because they are playing an ineligible team to make the tournament. So LIU is already in. High Point beat Winthrop in the Big South tournament. So back-to-back Big South titles for High Point. I'll tell you what, High Point is a team that's going to be a really interesting first-round matchup because they have kind of their self a version of Jack Golke, if you remember that name. Jack Golke from Oakland, who helped beat Kentucky in the first round in the 2024 tournament. This guy named Chase Johnston, he has attempted 4 2-point field goals the entire season. And guess what he is from that? He's over 4. But I can't remember what the exact number is. This guy has taken like 353s this year, and he's made like half of them. I swear. Like I gotta look up this guy's stats just to like. Let's see, Chase Johnston. So let's see. He shoots 48.5% from 3. And I'm trying to see exactly like where the number is right now. It's not showing it on here. But yeah, it's like, I can't remember what exactly it is, but it is hilarious because this is the type of guy who you look at and you'd be like, yeah, that's a bracket buster. And then there was like a post, there's a post on Twitter that said that not that long ago. But yeah, he made all 3 of his threes he took against Winthrop. He went 1 of 3 against UNC Asheville, or 2 of 6, I mean. And then he made the 1-3 he took against Gardner-Webb in the quarterfinals. But yeah, this guy literally is someone to watch out for because he's the type of player that you look at and you'd be like, okay, so this guy only takes threes. How is a team that might be like kind of bad against in like a 3-point defense situation? Because there are 3 and 4 seeds who are out there who don't play great perimeter defense. So all I'm saying is that High Point could be a really weird out in the first round for a 3 or 4 seed because I think High Point's sitting on the 14-13 line right now. Just based off bracketologies I've been looking at lately. So that'll be pretty fun to keep an eye on. And then oh my goodness, Central Arkansas Queens in the A-Sun Championship, the Atlantic Sun Conference. I really hope you guys are watching that game because that game was nuts. This game went to overtime, and Central Arkansas was kind of like the team to beat in the A-Sun. I mean, there was a 3-way tie atop the conference between Austin Peay, Central Arkansas, and Queens. Austin Peay had the best win-loss record overall, but they fell out pretty early in that tournament. So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember exactly like, I'm trying to find out exactly how much Queens was up by with like 5 minutes left, but I'm pretty sure they were up like 10 with like 5 minutes to go in this game. And I want to find the exact score here just so I confirm this. 7 with 6 minutes left. 9 with 5 minutes left. 12. Okay, so yeah, Queens was up 12 points with 4 minutes and 21 seconds to go in the game. And Central Arkansas cuts it down to 4 with, how much time was left? They cut it down to 4. They cut it down to 7 points rather, with 42 seconds left. They get it to 6. Then they get it to a 5-point game after 2 free throws, and then it's a 4-point game after another free throw. So it was 3 free throws by Cameron Hunter, who, by the way, had 49 points for Central Arkansas in this loss. Cameron Hunter was just unbelievable in this game. He did everything he could. So it's 79-75, right? 30 seconds to go. There is a turnover. There's a turnover by Central Arkansas. Cameron Hunter hits a 3. It's a 1-point game. It goes back to a 2-point game after a 1 of 2 on free throws. And then Cameron Hunter, well, this is later on again, but after a 1 of 2 on free throws, Cameron Hunter hits a floater to send the game to overtime. And then Queens ends up kind of running away with it in overtime. Chris Ashby for Queens, unbelievable this game too. Chris Ashby. So, you know, when you talk about guys who could really emerge as special players in March, watch out for Chris Ashby of Queens. This is the first time ever going to the tournament for Queens because they've only been a Division I school for, I think, this is their 4th year as a D1 school now. Ashby in this game had 34 points. 34. So 98-93 is the final of that one. That was an unbelievable basketball game. Just unbelievable game. I really hope you guys were watching that one because that was a really fun one yesterday. And then I believe the only other one that happened yesterday was the North Dakota State-North Dakota game, which was a good one too. So North Dakota State back in the tournament for the first time since 2019. They get a 70-62 win over North Dakota. That's the Summit League Championship. So the Bison are off to the tournament. I believe I think they're on the 15 line right now. But when you talk about a team like Queens, I think that's a 15-14 seed based off what I've saw. So those are your those are your automatic bids so far. LIU, Queens, North Dakota State, Northern Iowa, and then East Tennessee State. Tennessee State. So it's been a lot of fun so far. And guess what? It's only going to continue. I mean, we still have 26 automatic bids on the line, and that all happens until Sunday. Like, you're talking about the next basically 7 days up until the bracket is revealed on Sunday night, that these conference tournaments are just going to go berserk. I mean, we have 2 more tonight coming up. The games tonight are, it's the, what is it? It's the Sun Belt Championship between Georgia Southern and Troy. And then it's the, what is it? It's the, what league is that? SoCon, Southern Conference, Furman and East Tennessee State. So there's East Tennessee State. I mentioned Tennessee State and I said East Tennessee State earlier, but yeah, East Tennessee State is in a conference championship game. So also to talk about the Sun Belt tournament, I don't know if you guys have seen the bracket for the Sun Belt tournament, but it is the craziest ladder of all time. Craziest. Georgia Southern has already won 4 games in 4 days. They're going for their 5th in 5 days today. They're going for their 5th win in 5 days today. Because the way it works is like the 1 and 2 seeds get automatically placed in the semifinals. The 3 and 4 are automatically in quarterfinals. And it's like a ladder that just keeps going backwards. So Georgia Southern, I believe they're the 9 seed or something like that. They're like this 7, 8, 9 seed, something like that. So they have won 4 games in 4 days already. They're going for their 5th in 5 days. That's insane. I mean, that is insane for Georgia Southern. So just going back and looking at this, they beat Old Dominion in the first round. They beat Arkansas State in the second round. Oh, I apologize. I think that Old Dominion was their season finale. So far they beat Arkansas State, South Alabama, Coastal Carolina, and Marshall in 4 straight days. And now they are moving on to the championship game against Troy, who is the favorite to win the conference. But man, this would be just an unbelievable story. I mean, this would just be a wild, wild story because, oh, I apologize. No, they have won 5 straight games. They're going for their 6th win in 6 days. Wow. Yeah, so they're actually going for their 6th win in 6 days. man, I mean, this is even hard to keep track of for me. Georgia Southern went 8-10 in the conference, and they are going for their 6th win in 6 days now. So Old Dominion was their first conference tournament game. Wow. So yeah, that game's at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, wherever it may be that you live. That one's on ESPN2, and then the other one, East Tennessee State and Furman is on. That's on ESPN. And then after that, we got the semifinals of the West Coast Conference. But yeah, so 2 more tonight. And then tomorrow night will be the West Coast Conference Championship. And there's a lot more coming up. Obviously, everything's going to happen like crazy this week. It's going to be so much fun to kind of keep track of what goes on this entire week. So yeah, conference tournament week is seriously just like one of the most fun weeks out there because there is just mayhem. Like even in a semifinal game of the Patriot League, I believe it is, between Boston and Navy. Navy hits a layup to go up 2 with like 5 seconds left. And then this Boston guy hits a 3 from 35 feet to just sinks it to win the game in the semifinals. And Navy was like hands down the best team in that conference this year. And all of a sudden, not anymore. Boston University stuns them at the buzzer at Navy. So that was a wild game. There was a buzzer beater from, I'm blanking out who it was. I think it was Lehigh who hit a buzzer beater the other day. I think it was just a regular season game, but still. The buzzer beaters are here. The conference tournaments are here. You just can't beat March. You just cannot beat March. There's nothing better. Yeah, there's a handful of conference championship games tomorrow night, too. Handful of them. I'm pretty sure the Big Sky's tomorrow night. No, that's Wednesday night. Let's see. I want to give you guys the updates of what to look out for. So today is March 9th. So like I said, tonight the SoCon and the Sun Belt are tonight. Tomorrow night, on Tuesday, we will have the Colonial Athletic Association or the Coastal Athletic Association. I can't remember what it's called now, but the CAA is tomorrow night. The Horizon League is tomorrow night. The MAAC is tomorrow night. The Northeastern Conference is tomorrow night, which LIU already won that, but they still play in a conference championship game against Mercyhurst. And the West Coast Conference is tomorrow night. So, and then a handful of them also take place over the weekend, like on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, including the power conferences. So on Saturday, the conference championships are the Big 12, the ACC, the Mountain West, the Big East, and then I think those are the ones that really matter. Then Sunday, you got the SEC, Big 10, and American, and then the Ivy League. Those are on Sunday. So that in mind, let's kind of figure out who I think is going to win the conference tournaments for the power conferences. So we're talking SEC, Big East, Big 10, Big 12, and ACC. So let's start in the Big East. I have a hard time thinking it's not St. John's tournament to lose because, one, I don't know if you guys saw this, but it was pretty mainstream that Dan Hurley, they put a shoulder into an official in their loss against Marquette on Saturday. Dan Hurley, there's got to be some sort of penalty for him. I haven't heard of a penalty for him yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if he can't coach in the Big East tournament because he literally went up to an official and did that to him. He literally went up to an official and bumped into him on purpose because he didn't like a foul that wasn't called on the final play of the game, essentially. So I wouldn't be. He got a double technical because of that and got tossed. I seriously would not be shocked if he gets at least suspended for a game, if not two, or the entire tournament at Madison Square Garden. But that in mind, this is on St. John's home court. They know how to play at Madison Square Garden. They've won a lot of games there this year. I don't think they've lost a game at MSG. Well, they lost to Alabama earlier in the year, but that in mind, like they haven't lost a game in Big East play at that arena yet. And the only game that they really struggled in it was that road game at UConn. But other than that, I mean, they have been, well, they lost early on the year at home against Providence, but I don't think that game was at Madison Square Garden. They also beat Ole Miss at Madison Square Garden early on the year, that's not a crazy impressive win, but yeah, I think that St. John's is going to run through the Big East tournament. So I'm going to pick the Red Star to be the Big East champion just because I'm kind of out on UConn. I don't trust that team. They've played way too many close games against these lowly conference opponents. Even earlier on the week, they had a really tough one against Seton Hall. And don't get me wrong, Seton Hall is a pretty solid team. They got a good record just because the Big East isn't usually as good as it is, but I don't know. I mean, UConn struggled with Villanova. They just lost to Marquette, who's terrible this year. And yeah, I just don't really trust UConn. I think even though they know how to win in March, like I might pick them in my bracket to lose, like probably Sweet 16, just because like they're going to be a 2 seed, and there are a lot of 3 seeds out there. I think all 4 3 seeds currently can beat a UConn team. So I have a hard time thinking that UConn will make it out of. I think they probably will get to the Sweet 16, but it's just that's a team that's going to be a hard one to want to really advance far in March, just based on how they've played lately. In the Big Ten, I'm going to roll with Michigan. I'm going to roll with Michigan to win that conference title. I think that Michigan is going to beat Purdue in the championship game because I see a UCLA over Nebraska upset in the quarterfinals, which is a 6-3. And then I see Purdue getting past. I see Purdue beating Michigan State in the 3-6 in the 7-2 game. And then I see Purdue getting past UCLA to get to the championship where they'd lose to Michigan. Michigan-Illinois semifinal should be a lot of fun. If Illinois can figure out what's going on right now, because that is a team that seems like there's kind of a few screws loose. Very head-scratching win at Maryland yesterday for Illinois. But Michigan is just they're a wagon. I mean, they're so loaded. I'm going to have a hard time really not picking. I'm going to have a hard time not picking them to win it all this year. Michigan's so talented. Michigan is just so unbelievably loaded. There's just you don't get a break with that team. They're just so stacked from top to bottom, and they got depth too. ACC, I feel like the obvious answer is Duke here. I mean, you look at a team like North Carolina, if they were to get Caleb Wilson back, but he's out for the year now because he broke his thumb. Not the same hand injury, by the way, different hand injury. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of hard to. Pick against Duke, especially when you're. That is so hard to believe that like Virginia fell all the way to the 9 spot in the ACC. Wow. Oh, that's 2025. Okay, I was looking at the wrong bracket here. No, where is the ACC men's tournament schedule? Where is this? Here it is. Okay. So yeah, you're looking at, the thing is, when you look at this tournament bracket, and I can share my screen with you while I look at these tournament brackets too. So let's get this up. So here's the ACC tournament bracket. I'll kind of zoom in too so you guys see this better. But yeah, I mean, when you look at this bracket, like I don't really see any way in which Duke probably loses this. I mean, maybe if they play Virginia in the championship, but I don't know. The way Miami's playing right now, I think it's going to be Duke-Miami. I think it's going to be Duke-Miami in that championship game. Louisville could beat Miami too, though, so who knows? But yeah, I'll take Duke over Clemson in the semifinals. I'll take Miami over Virginia in the semifinals, and yeah, give me Duke to win the championship on Saturday there. And then in the SEC, I mean, I'm talking so chalky right now, but how can you not pick Florida? How can you not pick Florida? I mean, the Gators are playing some of the best basketball they could possibly be playing right now. They just beat Kentucky on the road, which is a really hard place to play. I think it's 11 straight wins now for Florida, and that's now 16 of the last 18 games they've won. Again, I got to confirm this because, I mean, Florida is just on a roll. And they also just recently, last Saturday, beat Arkansas again by 34. And Arkansas is the second best team in that league. So Florida is the number 1 overall seed in the SEC. They won the regular season title. Not shocking. So yeah, they've won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They've won 11 straight games. And they have won 13, 14, 15, 16 of the last 18 games. Yeah, so I had that right. They've won 16 of the last 18 games. Florida's loaded. Florida's loaded. I don't see any way in which in a weaker SEC this year that Florida loses that conference tournament. So now the interesting one is the Big 12. So this is definitely one I want to show you the bracket of. Because the Big 12 is just an unbelievably tough bracket. I mean, this bracket is insane this year. So, and let me tell you this, like to see Iowa State as a 5 seed, like Iowa State has had a great year and they're a 5 seed in this conference tournament. Nuts. So, I mean, the thing is like this bracket right here is just unreal because a team like Cincinnati, who's playing on the first day on Tuesday tomorrow, Cincinnati's been kind of rolling lately. I mean, they have a win over Kansas. Like they've been ranked as like one of the best teams since the start of February in the country, according to Bart Torvik. And I mean, Cincinnati is just on playing some really good basketball right now. So you could see Cincinnati probably make it to the game against Arizona and give the Wildcats a game. I mean, seriously, they could give the Wildcats a game. But no, give me Arizona and Iowa State in that Friday semifinal, and then give me Houston and Kansas in that Friday semifinal. And here's where things are going to get interesting. I'm going to pick Iowa State to upset Arizona in that Friday semifinal. I think Iowa State's going to make it to the final where they play Houston once again. And I think Houston will end up winning the conference tournament. But this bracket is insane. I mean, this will be one of the more fun brackets to keep an eye on in March in this coming weekend. Because man, this is just an unbelievable bracket. I mean, the Big 12 is so loaded. The Big 12 is so unbelievably loaded. Let's fix that. Oh, there we go. But before we hop off for the day, we can just quickly talk about the new men's AP poll that came out today. I think this is the second to last one because also, how about this breaking news? Arizona State is expected to part ways with head basketball coach Bobby Hurley at the end of the season. Wow. Breaking news from an hour ago, posted by On3. Bobby Hurley expected to be out as head coach of Arizona State. Wow. I mean, he hasn't really done a whole lot there, so it makes sense, but they just recently beat Kansas at home too. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I will get this up here. There we go. There's a new AP poll. So not a whole lot of movement at the top. 1, 2, 3, still the same. Duke, Arizona, Michigan. Florida now 4th after, like I was saying, I mean, they're just on an absolute roll. So the Gators up to a top 4 team now. playing some phenomenal basketball. UConn drops to 6 following the loss to Marquette on Saturday. I feel like it's still a little respectful. I mean, I know it was only like their 4th loss or 5th loss, but I feel like it's still a little respectful. I feel like there are still a handful of teams in this poll that you probably could rank higher. But, well, not a handful, but a couple. Like Iowa State, you could probably rank higher. I don't know about Michigan State, but you probably could rank them higher than UConn. Illinois 9, Illinois back in the top 10. Virginia 10, Nebraska 11, Gonzaga at 12. It's probably just about right. St. John's, Kansas, Alabama, Texas Tech, Arkansas, Purdue. Purdue dropped way down. I mean, Purdue is playing some really head-scratching basketball. So it's probably pretty bold that I'm taking them to make the Big Ten tournament title. But I think it's just kind of I mean, this is the preseason number 1 team we're talking about, but we'll see. We'll see how things shake out. It's a pretty bold prediction, but you got to make bold predictions this time of year, right? North Carolina 19, Miami of Ohio drops a spot, but actually, before I hop off here, this is actually something I need to talk about like to a T. Miami of Ohio, 31-0. 31-0. They just beat rival Ohio for the first time in 15 years on the road. They survive in overtime. Ohio misses a game-winning 3 at the end to win the game. I think the final score was 110-108, if I'm not mistaken. Miami won. Insane game. There is still a controversy that even if Miami doesn't win the MAC tournament, they're not in the field. The most bizarre and outrageous thing I think I've ever heard. I mean, the fact that people are actually saying that Miami of Ohio, who has won every single game it has played this year, is not an NCAA tournament team is just the most stupid claim I think I've ever heard. Because I feel like there's a good chance they probably don't win the MAC tournament. And guess what? If they don't get in, what precedent does that set? If you put in a team like Auburn, who's 16-15 and probably won't do much in the SEC tournament over a 31-0 Miami of Ohio, and let's say they go to the championship game, they lose to Akron. If they are not in the tournament field after that, that will be one of the biggest jokes of all time. Like, seriously, one of the biggest jokes of all time if they're not in the field. Miami of Ohio should safely be a lock right now. Safely. But somehow, some way, they're not. And that is just mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. This is because winning is not easy. Winning is not easy, but this team has found a way to do it every single time they played a game. And granted, I get it. They don't have a quad 1 win. They've played one quad 2 game, and everything else has been quad 3 or 4. I get it. They've won every single game they've played. Every single one. And the fact that there are people out there saying that, oh, they're not a tournament team is the most bizarre thing to me I could possibly even fathom to understand. I don't get how you look at that team and think they're not a tournament team. Like, seriously, one of the most just outrageous things I think you could possibly even say. Seriously. Miami of Ohio is for sure a tournament team. Safely. There's end of discussion. I don't care how they do in the MAC tournament. They've won 31 games and lost none. 0. They are a tournament team, safely in the field. And if people don't think so, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're simply wrong. Because what precedent does that set? You look at this bubble this year. It's not great. And the people saying expand the field, no. That doesn't allow for other mid-major schools who might not be successful in their conference tournaments to make the field. That's only going to allow other shitty bubble teams to make it. We don't want more shitty bubble teams in the tournament because guess what they do? They don't win games. They do not win games in March. The shitty bubble teams never do anything. We don't need more teams like that. A team like Miami of Ohio, they have won every game they've played. Give them a chance. I don't care how they do in the MAC tournament. If they win it, great for them. Congratulations. You're safely in the field. You're probably an 8 or 9 seed. If they don't win it, they better be in as a 10 or 11. They better be in as a 10 or 11. And if they're not, that would really, really bother me. It would bother me immensely. So that's my little spiel on that. But thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA this week. A lot of fun conference tournament games all throughout the week. So it's a great time to be a college basketball fan. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's coming down to the stretch, and then Next Monday, we will be breaking down the field of 68 on this show. We'll have a special guest joining us on the program next Monday. Go a little longer next week to really break down the field, the two of us, and can't wait to see you then. But until then, I'm Will Charlton. We'll catch you next time.